and he happens to be from the great state of New Mexico.
The greatest state.
And if anybody is privy to any of my work on NewRightNetwork.com, I broke the story on New Right Network 2 days ago that the governor of New Mexico implemented the red flag laws, and now the governor has the right to confiscate your guns. Coy, also, she made it very clear that if the sheriffs don't like the law, that they can quit. So tell us a little bit about it from the New Mexico perspective.
Awesome, absolutely. And I can tell it to you from a political perspective of New Mexico as well, because I'm also a county commissioner in a southern county that is directly affected by a porous border. And that's the reason why Cowboys for Trump was started. It's completely grassroots, and it started just as an effort to stand up and support our president as he showed strong leadership in regards to securing our border and keeping our community safe. So we went out to D.C. Last February of 2019. We rode 170 miles in the middle of February, in the middle of the freezing cold and rain and ice, down the Potomac River to be a sign of support for our president. The platform is growing into what it is today. It just continues to get stronger and get bigger because it's grassroots, and we all know that what grows naturally grows the strongest. So that's the beauty of our organization. But in regards to our county sheriffs in New Mexico, I'm very involved with our sheriffs as far as supporting our sheriffs. Tony Mace, who is the president of the New Mexico Sheriff's Association, as well as the president of the Western State Sheriff's Association, is the sanctuary resolutions is Tony. He's the brainchild of that. Tony's the one that created those resolutions, got them introduced, and now they're being secured across the United States. But this last week I was able to speak at the Western States Sheriff's Association with 300 county sheriffs standing behind me on the platform. And the message that I brought was this. There's two plans in America today. We have Plan A and we have Plan B. Plan B is in regards to our county sheriffs, our sanctuary resolutions, and making a stand at the county or municipal village level. That's Plan B. Plan A is the ballot boxes in November. If we can't beat them back at the ballot boxes in November, if by some strange reason that I would not be able to know, people were to actually vote Democrats back into office again in November, and we were to remain blue, then we have a Plan B in place, and that's our county sheriffs. But I will tell everybody this: they're not going to get our guns. They're not going to disarm us as a people, because if they disarm us as a people, they have us. And we're talking about the same people that will endorse murdering babies as they're coming out of the womb. These are the same people that want to take our guns away from us. And I believe in America that there's no way that's going to happen. Hey, Midge.
Well, let's put it into perspective, Coy. Okay?
Try to say hi pretty good.
That's fine. Let's put it in perspective, Coy. You know New Mexico like the back of your hand, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm just a poor farmer, okay? I've got a couple of heads of cattle and on my farm, and I call 911 to get help. Okay, because some guy who's run across the border has now decided that he's going to take my livelihood and steal my property.
Happens all the time.
Okay, so answer this question: about how long does it take for a police officer to arrive at your door?
Oh, dude, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico the other day. I was wearing a shirt that said "Cowboys for Trump." The young man that was working the counter was some completely obnoxious, triggered snowflake. And he was a little bit mental. Well, anyways, long story short, he wound up calling the cops on me at an Albuquerque motel. In an emergency state, he was freaking out. He was going, "This man's threatening me," and this and that. He was telling the cops that I was a threat. It took 2 hours for the cops to show up. 2 hours. If I would have really been a threat to this man, he would have been toast in 2 minutes.
Right.
In 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Not 2 hours.
So what I guess what I'm getting at is
we have to have the right to be able to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
I don't want to have to wait for a police officer for 30 minutes to show up to do a job that I'm very capable of doing.
Absolutely.
I know how to handle a firearm probably just as well as most of the police officers.
And you're not going to kill anybody, but it's
I'm
just
gonna protect
you're going to
myself,
protect yourself.
And if I have to kill somebody, I will.
I understand. I mean, listen. Protecting your family and protecting your wife and children has got to be the most important thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, Coy. Tell me this. How many felons who own a gun do you think are going to be giving their guns up voluntarily? Okay, and then how many of those guns that convicted felons own does the government know about?
If making something illegal is a solution to the problem, why don't we make drugs illegal? Why don't we make heroin illegal or meth illegal? Oh, we already have, haven't we? How well is that working out for us? It's not about making firearms. Making firearms illegal is not going to solve the issues with people's hearts. It's not the firearm that's killing people, it's the person that's standing behind the gun. We know that. But this move right here is not a move. It's a globalist move. It's globalism 101. The first thing globalists want to do is to disarm the people that live in their areas. That's what all this infringement on our Second Amendment is. But again,
that's not only Second Amendment, Coy. It's Fourth Amendment due process.
Absolutely.
The red flag law is a Fourth Amendment due process.
I know it's an infringement. They're stomping all over us through it. But America is not going to allow this to happen. I still believe in the people. I still believe in the heart of Americans. I still believe that we have the resolve to fight through anything. And I'll tell you this much too. I told my buddy this morning in the hotel room before we left. If we allow our Second Amendment to be infringed upon, we may as well go out to Arlington Cemetery, one of the most sacred places in the whole United States, right outside of town here, and we may as well let that be turned into a place where people can go turn their dogs loose and their cats loose and let them crap and deficit and anybody that homeless, let them go out there, let them turn that Arlington Cemetery into a place where they go crap and pee all over, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing to the memory of every soldier who's ever fought and died for our nation.
Absolutely.
We have to, those men fought and died for our freedoms, for our nation, and we cannot sit back and allow that to be taken our country to be taken from us by a bunch of pansy hit job liberals. Anyways, he's Beto O'Rourke in his skinny jeans and his tight little designer shirt going, "We're going to come get your AK-47s." Who, Beto? Are you going to come get them? Or are you going to send some little snot-nosed 18-year-old kid to my front door that's going to get killed? Is what's going to happen. They're idiots. And the exact people that are going to be getting the calls turned in on the red flag laws are the exact people that you don't want to go knocking on their door. Honestly, I mean, you take some of our vets, some of our Vietnam vets that have seen the absolute worst in the world. They've seen the atrocities of disarmed communities. They've seen it with their own eyes. And then you think those men are going to give you their guns? You're absolutely out of your mind. They're going to get is there's going to be an exchange of gunfire, and blood's going to spill in a way that doesn't have to be spilled. Mm-hmm. We've got enough blood that's been spilt out there in Arlington. Yeah. In foreign lands. We've got to knuckle down, we've got to fight them back, and we've got to do it with all we got in us, and we've got to make 2020 as red as we can.
Coy, final question. How much work do you think Bloomberg and Soros had in affecting the red flag laws in the state of New Mexico? Okay?
Huge. It's huge. It's huge. And the thing about New Mexico is New Mexico is ranked 48 out of 50 in economics. We're 49 out of 50 in education. We're an easy state to buy. We're easy. Our political offices are easy offices to buy. And the California money that's coming into New Mexico they're buying our elections out. California has an agenda. The agenda that California has is a state called New Mexico. Our governor is moving the film industry into New Mexico. She's introduced the Green New Deal, the green energy. She's introduced the Green New Deal into New Mexico on the state level. They're trying to disarm us. California's mouths are watering for the state of New Mexico, and damn it, we were there before they were.
I got it. I got it.
Fight them back, and if they want to do that, if that's the way they do things in California, then they can move their butts back to California and they can keep on doing them. But we're sick of them doing it in Mexico.
Well, Coy, I want to thank you very much. You're a patriot. You're a great American. I'm so happy to have met you. We'll keep in touch. And honestly, what I want to do is we have a number of New Right Network Plus. We have a number of podcasts that go on. If you'd like to have a podcast on our show, we'd like to have your voice be heard.
Any platform that we can hit, we would love to.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to introduce you around, and as I said, great to meet you, and let's talk again. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
NewRightNetwork.com, Frank D'Onofrio, and NRN Plus. Thank you. D'Onofrio, and I'm here at CPAC interviewing Yang Kong Sao. Ling Chow. I'm sorry. I apologize. And Mr. Chow is running for the Orlando District, which is District 7 in Florida. And I'd like to thank you for coming and talking to New Right Network. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your candidacy. I know you have a great background. You were born in Communist China, is that correct?
That is correct.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us about why you're here and why you're running for political office.
Sure. I grew up in Communist China under dictator Chairman Mao Zedong. During the Cultural Revolution, my father was politically persecuted. He endured torture, forced labor, loss of freedom, and public humiliation. During that time, each year we were able to only see him once or twice. And what's on the top of that, a couple years later, both my grandparents and I were forced to relocate from the capital city of Yunnan province called Kunming to a remote, very poor village called in Xindian County, where there's no tap water, no electricity, no nearby clinic. A few months later, my grandma suffered a heart attack. Due to a lack of adequate medical treatment, she passed away. Ever since that, my family suffered a lot of extreme poverty and also devastating personal loss.
What brought you to the United States?
I, benefit from Deng Xiaoping's economic reform and open policy. So in 1986, I received my degree from University of Science and Technology of China. I also worked to introduce Americans' industrial strategy to China, helping the mining cities of China to adopt the business model like Houston to diversify their business, their industry. So when I was in early 30s, I published one book, and then based on this credential and also my eager to learn more from America and also my, intention to pursue the American dream. So I came to America in 1992 as a legal immigrant.
Wow, great. So you are living, quite honestly, the American dream. You've come here, you've raised a family. Tell me a little bit about your family and all about yourself.
Sure, I have a very happy family. I got married with my wife, my beautiful wife, since 1993, and I have two children. Both are college students. My daughter right now is a senior at the University of Florida, and my son is a senior at the University of Florida, and my daughter is at the NYU New York University as a junior. So we have a very happy family. I want to say it is America enabled me really achieve the prosperity, success, achieve my American dream.
So this is a really important conversation because socialism has popped and reared its head in our election. And even Mike Bloomberg has said, well, they just elect guys. The people don't have a choice in it. Tell us about, your version of China versus Mike Bloomberg's version of China.
I want to say, my version is real reality because I lived through that, right? Socialism, there's two major, negative impact really harm the society. One is economically. I want to explain that. In a socialist country run by Mao Zedong, no private ownership of anything, no market transaction, and also every factory, they don't allow any performance-based like rewarding system because there's no that really suffocates the entrepreneurship, innovation, even the people's productivities. As a result, the economy collapsed. Like during the Cultural Revolution, everything was rationed, every basic needs, everything was in shortage. For